So they need 348 to win from 300 balls. Hit straight to a fielder. It's in the air. She won't, goes for a duck. It's high in the air, longer, couldn't quite reach it. That's the first boundary for Laxman.
India will be looking to blast away from the start with fielding restrictions in place.
And colour to begin a new spell. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. Hit straight at Flower. It's high in the air. That's the first boundary for Tendulkar. It's in the air. He picked the length quickly with that one.
He dispatched that short ball with a certain amount of disdain.
Well, that's 2 full and it's been punished. That takes him into double figures. .48 overs are left in the innings.
The fielding restrictions provide the opportunity for attacking batsmen to score some fast early runs.
The required run rate is around 6.5 and over. I think he was easily back in the crease there. Played into the gap. The batsmen are coming back for 2. So they need 329 to win from 284 balls. The score is now 1 for 19. Streak to Laxman. He's gone over the top with that and it looks like 4 runs. Laxman moves into double figures with those runs.
India will be looking to take full advantage of the early fielding restrictions by scoring some quick runs.
And colour to begin a new over. The required run rate has crept up to around 6.5 and over. 1 for 23. Hit straight to a fielder. And colour to Laxman. There it goes. You certainly saw that one early.
The bowler didn't do too much wrong there. It was just an excellent shot.
Streak to begin a new over. The required run rate has crept up to around 6.5 and over. That must be close. The umpire says not out. That was a difficult decision for the umpire. Streak at the start of his run-up. Hit straight at Flower.
Wait.
Tendulkar is now facing. That's the end of the 5th over, and colour to begin a new over. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. There it goes. And colour only overpitched very slightly, but it was punished.
It gave the batsman too much room there. 4 runs.
Hit straight at Marillier. And colour continues. The fielder will cut that off. The batsmen are looking for 2. Great job done by the fielder in the deep. Hit straight at Streak. The fielder will cut that off. Laxman has moved into the 20s and is starting to look far more relaxed. 1 for 35. .44 overs are left for India. Streak to begin a new over. The required run rate has crept up to around 7 and over. Great shot by Laxman. Picked up very early by Laxman.
Great shot. That seemed to rocket to the boundary.
Laxman is now facing. The fielder will cut that off. The batsmen are after 2. Great job done by the fielder in the deep. India have taken their total on to 1 for 41. Well, the fielder's not going to cut that off. Laxman very quickly onto that one.
That came right out of the meat. Excellent shot.
Stopped by Nkala. Streak is back in the attack. That over eased the pressure on the batting team, and colour to begin a new over. Now the run rate stands at just over 7 and over. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. Whittall reaches it before it crosses the boundary. steered expertly into the gap. .299 runs required. The second wicket pair have moved their partnership on to 50. And colour is back in the attack. It's straight at Marillier. Streak to begin a new over. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. Streak at the start of his run-up. Hit straight to a fielder. There's a mix-up with the batsman. I think he was easily back in the crease there. Tendulkar is now on strike. Pushed into the gap. Streak to bowl to Laxman. A very good over. Only one offered in the end. And colour to begin a new over. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. Stopped by Marillier. Tendulkar is now on strike. Tendulkar has now moved into the 20s. Stopped by Marillier. 1 for 52. And colour to Laxman. That's the end of the 10th over. Streak to begin a new over. The required run rate has crept up to around 7 and over. Done him all ends up. That was a superb delivery.
Excellent bowling. Keep it straight, and if the batsman makes a mistake, he's out.
Tendulkar has gone for 20. Dravid is off the mark. Campbell reaches it before it crosses the boundary. Dravid is now facing. Fielded down at fine leg by a longer. Laxman waiting at the striker's end. Oh, that's close. No response from the umpire. I thought it looked very close. It's in the air. Here comes the first change in the bowling. The required run rate has crept up to around 7 and over. Played into the gap.
Waiting.
2, now for 56. Hit straight at the longer.
Waiting. Yeah.
Carlisle just picks that up inside the rope. 2, now for 58. Murphy to bowl to Laxman. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. The fielder will cut that off. .38 overs are left in the innings. Streak to begin a new over. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. A long hop and punish. That was a fantastic back foot shot.
What a ripper! The crowd enjoyed that one.
The batsman will have to run these. And Colour doing the fielding. Streak continues. That's straight up in the air. That was a nice bit of timing.
Lovely shot. It raced away to the fence for 4.
37 overs are left in the innings. Dravid waiting at the striker's end. Now the run rate stands at just over 7 and over. Hit straight to a fielder. The total is now 2 for 71. Murphy to Dravid. He didn't quite get hold of that one properly. Picked up by Carlisle.
Waiting.
Played into the gap. Murphy continues. There should be some runs here. Picked up on the boundary by Carlisle. Pushed into the gap. Streak continues. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. The batsman will have to run these. Hit straight at Whitall. 2 now for 77. That's a big appeal. The umpire says not out. I thought it looked very close. Streak to Laxman.
Waiting! Go!
Hit straight at Campbell. Laxman waiting at the striker's end.
Run!
Crowd are standing to applaud him. There's his half century. India move on to 78. Hit straight to a fielder. The required run rate has crept up to around 7.5 and over. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off.
Yes!
Batsmen are looking for 3. Great job done by the fielder in the deep. He's going to have to move here. He looked as if he was home to me.
Yes! Go!
Hit straight at the longer. Dravid waiting at the striker's end. He's worked that into the gap. .34 overs are left in the innings. Streak to begin a new over. The required run rate has crept up to around 7.5 and over. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. Dravid moves into double figures with those runs. Laxman facing. That's well bowled by Streak. That's 4 runs. Wasn't a very good delivery.
Well, that was a pretty poor delivery. It just sat up and asked to be smashed.
33 overs are left in the innings. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here.
Waiting!
Played into the gap. The batsmen are after 2. A longer just picks that up inside the rope. They have 33 overs to get, 257.
Waiting!
Stopped by Flower.
Go!
That's a big hit. It's 6. Really struck that well.
That's a demoralising sight for any bowler, seeing the ball sail over the fence.
Play it away with comfort. Dravid has moved into the 20s and is starting to look far more relaxed. 9 runs came from that over by Murphy. We're about to see a change in the bowling. The run rate stands at just under 7.5 and over. Play it away with comfort.
Wait.
Laxman is now facing.
Yes, oh!
It's straight at Whittle.
Yes!
Play it away with comfort.
Go!
Murphy to begin a new over. The required run rate has crept up to around 7.5 and over. India have taken their total on to 2 for 102. Murphy to Laxman. Stopped by Whittle. He looked as if he was home to me. Murphy to Laxman.
Waiting!
Pushed into the gap. The score is now 2 for 103. Stopped by Flower. That's the end of the 20th over. And colour to begin a new over. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. Tucked off his legs. Didn't quite get hold of that one properly. And colour at the start of his run-up. batsman will have to run these. The batsmen are coming back for a second. And colour to Laxman. He's worked that into the gap.
Yes. No. No.
29 overs are left in the innings. The required run rate has crept up to around 8 and over. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. Streak out at long on.
Run. Go.
It's straight at the longer. Dravid waiting at the striker's end.
Waiting. Waiting.
Steered expertly into the gap. Murphy at the start of his run-up. It's in the air. And colour to begin a new over. The required run rate has crept up to around 8 and over.
Waiting.
There it goes. And colour at the start of his run-up. I think he was easily back in the crease there. And colour is back in the attack.
Yes.
That's cleared the rope. 6 runs. Hardly seemed to hit that, yet it sailed over the ropes.
That was a super shot. I really didn't think it was too bad a ball.
He's got it into the gap. He's got it into the gap. It's in the air and there's a fielder under it.
That went up miles. It had snow on it by the time it came down.
Dravid eventually goes for 27. The new batsman won't have to face just yet. The required run rate is around 8 and over.
Waiting. Yeah.
Those are the first runs for Ganguly. Laxman is now facing.
Run. No.
Murphy to bowl to Ganguly.
Find it.
That's found the gap in the field. Great job done by the fielder in the deep. Flicked off his legs. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. He's worked that into the gap. It's in the air. And they were diving for cover in the stand there.
That's a demoralising sight for any bowler, seeing the ball sail over the fence.
Laxman is now on strike. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. Ganguly waiting at the striker's end. Hit straight to a fielder. That's the halfway mark. 25 overs. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. Steered expertly into the gap. The batsmen are after 2. The sweeper picks up. Ganguly waiting at the striker's end. That's speeding to the boundary. That's the first boundary for Ganguly. Murphy to bowl to Ganguly. Played into the gap. Ganguly moves into double figures with those runs. Murphy to bowl to Laxman. Stopped by Flower. And Colour to bowl the last of his allotted overs. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. And Colour continues. And Colour at the start of his run-up. I think he was easily back in the crease there. A long hop and a splash for 4. And that takes his score into the 90s. We're about to see a change in the bowling. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. Great shot by Ganguly. He's timing the ball perfectly today.
Well played. He got into perfect position for that shot. Head over the ball. Weight going forward.
It's high in the air. Longer, only overpitched very slightly, but it was punished.
He loves the ball in that area. Great shot. 4 runs.
The fielder will cut that off. Ganguly has moved into the 20s and is starting to look far more relaxed. That's over the rope. 6 runs off Longer. That was sheer power.
Great strike. It looked like 6 the moment he struck it.
So they need an 84 to win from 33 balls. Laxman is now on strike. That over cost 15 runs. We're about to have a change of bowling with the leg spin of Murphy. The run rate stands at just under 8 and over. It's high in the air. It was sweetly timed.
Great shot. That seemed to rocket to the boundary.
Murphy continues. There should be some runs here. Picked up on the boundary by Rennie. He's got it into the gap. Ganguly is now facing. Comfortably taken, no worries.
He took a great catch there. The batsman will be gutted about it.
Ganguly goes for 5. The new batsman comes in at the non-striker's end. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. That's too short. 4 runs. Laxman raises his bat to the crowd to acknowledge the applause. That's 100 for Laxman. Longer to Laxman. Pushed into the gap. Mongia is off the mark. It's in the air.
Well, you can't set fields for shots like that. That's brilliant.
Laxman is now on strike. Pushed into the gap. That's the end of the 30th over. Murphy to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 8 and over. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. Batsmen are looking for 3. So they need 162 to win from 117 balls. It's high in the air. A great take by Campbell.
That was moving pretty quickly and he did well to cling onto it.
Mongia goes for only one. Murphy at the start of his run-up. That's a lovely way to get off the mark. The batsmen are after two. Fielded in the deep by Whittle. We're about to see a change in the bowling. The required run rate has crept up to around 8 and over. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. Laxman is now facing. .157 runs required. Superb shot. That's the first boundary for Badani. Badani is now on strike. That's gone high in the air. That takes him into double figures. That over cost 10 runs. We're about to see a change in the bowling. The required run rate is around 8 and over. Whittle to bowl to Laxman. He smashed that one right out of the ground. That was sheer power.
Exciting stuff. He took a risk, but was well rewarded as the ball disappeared over the fence.
It's in the air, and he's got away with it. He didn't quite get hold of that one properly. The batsmen are coming back for a second. That's gone high in the air. That was 6 as soon as he hit it.
Well, you can't set fields for shots like that. That's brilliant.
17 overs are left in the innings. Aurelia to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 7.5 and over. It's in the air, but it's 4 runs. That was perfectly struck.
Well, that was short and just asked to be hit.
Aurelia continues. That's gone high in the air. Picked up very early by Laxman.
Lovely shot. It raced away to the fence for 4.
Laxman facing. He's worked that into the gap. Marillier at the start of his run-up. Great take by the wicketkeeper. 9 runs came from that over. Whitall to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 7.5 and over.
Yes. Go.
Laxman waiting at the striker's end.
Go. Waiting.
He's got it into the gap. Whitall to Laxman.
Waiting. Go.
Stopped by Street. It's high in the air. That ball's at the fence in no time at all.
The bowler didn't do too much wrong there. It was just an excellent shot.
Well held.
That was a bad shot. He really seemed to lose concentration.
Laxman is finally out for 137, getting a wonderful and well-deserved standing ovation. The next man in is Mongia. That's the end of the 35th over. The new batsman won't have to face just yet. The required run rate has crept up to around 7.5 and over. Expertly held.
That was a really good effort by the fielder. He did well to cling on to it.
So then, that's the end of the gun. That's a big appeal. The umpire raised his finger and he's out. So then, that's the end of Khan.
Waiting.
Those are the first runs for Singh. A very good over. Only one offered in the end. Whitall to begin a new over. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here.
Waiting.
The batsman will have to run these. Mongia is now facing. India 8 for 231. That's in the stands. 6 runs. He smashed that a long way.
The bowler won't like that one little bit.
That is an excellent catch.
Fantastic catch. He flung himself at the ball and actually managed to hold on to it.
Mongia goes for only 6. Marillier to begin a new over. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. He's worked that into the gap. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. Marillier at the start of his run-up. Those are the first runs for Srinath. Srinath takes guard. The required run rate has crept up to around 8.5 and over. So he's got hold of that one out of the ground. That was a mighty hit.
That was a super shot. I really didn't think it was too bad a ball.
Srinath facing. Oh, that's close. So to sum up then, Zimbabwe win by 100 runs.